Evening. Start with your maintenance update. We've patched the pipe crossings from last month on Uglies Creek and Route 18. We have started grading our gravel roads, but due to the dryness of the weather, we're going to wait and finish the rest of them up until after we've had a little precipitation. We're cutting brush around signs on primaries and high volume secondaries. We've repaired shoulders on Route 18 and Route 42. We've had countywide tree and debris pickup from high winds and storms. And currently we're cutting brush on Cove Creek. We completed the stream bank repairs on Blue Spring Run. The roadway surface should be repaired this week. And the brush cutting on the interstate is nearly complete. I do have one item to discuss with you all that I'd like your consideration on to help us move forward with the project. The Route 710, and I apologize for not knowing what the 911 name is. I know you guys don't generally look at route numbers, but Route 710 is it used to be old Route 60 that's right off of exit 10. There are, I think, 3 properties that are served. It's an old truss bridge that as soon as you get off the interstate, there's one dwelling that's on there that's parallel to the eastbound on-ramp. We are trying to look at ways to deal with property access and consideration for the cost of bridge replacement. So we're looking at 2 different options concurrently. One, we're looking at access off of Route 159. It requires a lot of design waivers, and especially through FHWA, because it is very close to limited access on the ramp. But it would be between the existing bridge that's on Route 159 that goes over Dunlap Creek and the end of the ramp. And it doesn't meet the standard spacing requirements that we have. But we're trying to look at all scenarios because this is a little bit of a challenge. If we pursue bridge replacement, which would be replacing in the current location, again, we're trying to look at finances and everything. We would like to consider replacement of a single-lane bridge rather than construction of a 2-lane bridge, considering the access of the numbers of properties that are there. But in order to do that, we would need concurrence from the board to consider a single lane. For roads where we have traffic volumes that are less than 400 vehicles a day, that is certainly an option, but it just cleans things up on our end. And I can certainly, if you all are in agreement, I can work with Mr. Huber to draft language up.
So the bridge you're talking about, there's a pile of regrinds. Right
Milling
there.
material, yes. You turn right there. You turn right there. It's that bridge that's parallel to 159 over Dunlap Creek. Yes.
I thought about that the other day. A phantom bridge is basically what it's become because it's got.
You downgraded that bridge last year or this year?
Last year.
They use that bridge?
Yes.
Yes,
It serves one house.
Yes.
That's in my district.
Yeah. And we're like I say, we're trying to look at creative ways to do this.
There's a state highway through there at one time?
It used to be Route 60.
Oh, Route 60.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
They built the
Yep.
ramp.
The ramp went over.
When the interstate went through, it kind of shifted some of that intersection around. So, like I say, we're running 2 different options concurrently, and because both tend to be a little bit lengthy processes, we don't want to waste any time considering the age of the structure. It's over 100 years old. And so we'd like to get these details worked out and not be pressed for time. And certainly if you all want to consider it, it's fine. If you're in agreement with that area being served by a single lane. Now, I will, just to clarify, a single lane structure would still be able to accommodate fire trucks, ambulances. It's not going to be like 10 feet or anything like that. In general, they're usually about 15 to 17 feet face of curb to face of curb. So it would still be able to provide access. Obviously, construction might be a little bit different than what you see now, but we just want to make sure we're covering our bases.
And it's very, very, very low volume. It only serves that family, right?
They're the only ones that currently occupy any property out there. There is another adjoining piece of property that's owned by a gentleman still in Virginia, but I think his primary residence is in the Virginia Beach area. And we've spoke to both property owners to sort of bounce some ideas around them too. But
I drive by there about every day with Georgia going to Callahan, and I thought about, it's really strange because I thought about that the other day, how much it would cost to replace that bridge for one, you know, it's basically just a one-person bridge. If you go off the interstate ramp, it's pretty much how you would have to go on that side.
It would actually need to be on Route 159 because the federal requirements don't allow us to have any access, but it would be very narrow. Like we're trying to look at all possibilities, and it would be something that would require design waivers, you know, certainly from us as well, just given the proximity that there is from the approach on the eastbound side of the bridge over Dunlap that's on Route 159. There's a very narrow space in there that connects to the properties at the man zone. So
It'd be strong enough to hold a runaway truck coming off that ramp.
It's an on-ramp.
it's parallel to the on-ramp though, yeah.
The only problem I see would be signage, you know, make people
Right.
in front of their house
Right.
thinking they're getting on the interstate.
It's a much less safe way, or, you know, safe option. I don't think it would be nearly as safe as a one lane, which the cost would be a lot less probably.
Yes.
That's what y'all are paid to do. I mean, there's nothing to do but look at all your options.
Right, right. And like I said, we don't want to, you know, considering the age of the structure and that it is already posted, and we are keeping a close eye on it. We just want to make sure that we're considering every option and not getting down to the wire. And
I'm glad you have to do that and not us.
Take the old bridge down
I would imagine so, yes.
and then leave them everywhere. The historical societies like those bridges.
Yeah, well, I'm hoping not to have a repeat of 633.
I don't want
So you'd like to meet with somebody?
What preliminary action that we need is just concurrence of the board for us to pursue looking at replacement with a single lane as an option. And like I said, our requirements don't even allow us to consider it unless the traffic volume is less than 400 vehicles per day, which this is far less than that. It's not, you don't generally have to worry about head-on traffic. I think when I've been out there the last couple of times, it's mostly just been VDOT folks and the occasional mailman. So,
And you said you spoke to the landowner.
yes, we've spoken to both of them.
Do you just need us to be in agreement as a majority, or do you need a hand raise?
Basically what I need is just for you all to give me permission to
Not
work with
say
Mr.
no.
Huber on a draft to submit.
You need us to not say no, that's all you need from us.
I think you have the
I need a
approval you're
type of
looking for.
concurrence.
Yeah. I don't see any reason not to by any means.
You don't have a
Okay.
choice, you gotta look at all
Exactly.
options. So
Right.
that's just-
Thank you very
that's the way
much.
to get things done.
And certainly if you all have any questions, I mean, this is something that even, you know, if you all can certainly look at whatever draft that we present, make sure that you're in agreement with it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Absolutely. Board members,
Good.
you know what I'm going to say.
I'm writing it down.
It's coming down left and right, so we're losing some slate on that bank, so just keep an eye on it.
I keep telling you, in 1,000 years, it will eventually slump back to what
It'll take care of itself, but it's, yeah.
In about 1,000 years, Mother Nature will take it back to number one.
Ms. Hammond, thank you.
Thank you.
Just, the only other thing, I still keep getting questions from West Rock about the 40-ton bridge on 159. The one up there is going to be so tough to replace. It's got restrictions on it.
Right, that's posted.
Yeah, tremendous amount of product for West Rock comes in from, as far as Pulaski,
Which one is it?
I mean, just before you get to Crows, there's one you come around a turn and drop straight down right across it, and it's got a maximum, regardless number of
That's
axles.
right before you get into hematite, isn't it?
Just before you get to Hematite.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind telling you, I'm game for about anything, but I don't see how in the world you're ever gonna fix that one. You're right off the end of a block, houses on both sides. I don't know, it'd be tough to put a bridge in there.
You go to Rock
Replace
Castle?
it in there. Oh, no. it
You'd
must
have
be-
hydraulic issues if you went that way.
It must be 40 feet in the air when
Yeah.
it comes off the cliff.
Well, and that's, the easy ones we finished. So we've got our hands full, and hopefully with some additional infrastructure funds, we'll have an opportunity to,
The problem I
Make
see
some
is
headway.
a lot of times you'll put up an alternative route, but the alternatives goes through the tunnels. Trucks can't get through the
Right.
tunnels because the tunnels aren't tall enough, but once you hit the interstate, then you gotta go to White Sulphur somewhere. Either that or you gotta turn and go all the way back to Union, West Virginia, go all the way across to Lewisburg. Or go up 311 over the top into Paint Bank and down that way, so.
well, one of the
there is
things.
no good alternative.
One of the things that we are looking at, because I think I had, I talked to Mr. Lanford about it, the change in the posting requirements that we have for multi-axled vehicles, and that's a federal requirement. But one of the things that we've had to look at, because that did change so much in the way of posting, is looking at sort of intermediate options that we can do that where the posting might drop now. Is there something that we can do to mitigate raising the posting, not necessarily getting to the point where you'd have to replace the bridge, but looking at an alternative method that would raise that posting limit, or maybe eliminate the posting
I
limit?
do know some law enforcement is, if they see you using the road, they can pull you over for it
Right.
and write you tickets. And there's 20 miles of real estate on past that it would be tough to get anything through it without being able to come down 159. I mean, Union,
Yeah.
West Virginia, and wrong way on the interstate, and Paint Bank, it's not much of an haul. They're going hours and hours.
Yeah.
One tunnel's bad enough.
Uh,
One tunnel's bad enough.
Oh, it's a piece of cake. At least you can get through it.
Yeah.
You can't get through it. It's tubes up there.
You have good clearance there.
They keep telling me, they gave me a number one time, what percentage of their raw product comes through there. There's a tractor trailer through there every 3, 4, 5 minutes.
Yep.
Headed to West Rock. It would really affect them. And part of it is the way the state law is, the overload permits that we buy them from you, the state of Virginia, which allows us to run the 90,000 pounds, but they're no good on the interstate.
Right. You have to be on a primary route.
There's trucks coming from Blacksburg, all around in that country to come up 159, so it's a pretty major trucking route.
Yeah, you get them out of West Virginia and then up 311, either direction. Yeah.
Yeah.
While we're on that subject, I've been getting a number of calls from residents out there because of truck traffic and speeding. And running into them in the tunnel there, coming around the curve. Old man and his wife just about got hit head on recently. So I think
That tunnel stuff,
Yeah, it's one of the turn.
hard to swing a big truck and get in there without crossing the center line.
that's becoming a real big issue out that way because of the truck traffic.
Right.
It drops off on both sides right there.
Yeah, there was a pothole there on the right, you could stuck trout in, but y'all did fix that. They got that fixed.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good luck with any snow we get.
Well, they're calling for it a little this evening, so this will be our test run for this year.